to the deep dive. We're here to unpack your research, cut through the static, and give you the expert take you need right now. Today, we're diving into something pretty unique. The 2012 film, Iron Sky.
Yeah, Iron Sky. It's definitely a film. More than that, really. It's built on maybe one of the wildest ideas I've seen. We're digging into the plot, the surprising political satire, and how they even managed to make it.
Right. People might hear Nazis in space and think, okay, low-budget schlock. But this one, it aims higher, doesn't it? It actually tries to say something with its absurdity.
It really does. It takes this totally bonkers premise and kind of plays it straight, which is where the humor lands and the satire.
Okay, so let's set this up. The sources say the film kicks off in 2018. Which feels weirdly recent now, but okay.
The near future back then, and the U.S. is heading back to the moon.
But not for science, right? Not for discovery.
No, pure PR. It's all a stunt to get the U.S. president reelected.
And the film makes it pretty clear who they're parodying. The review we looked at kept saying she looks and sounds very like Sarah Palin.
Yep. That sets the tone immediately.
Right.
You know it's going to be sharp, maybe a little broad, but definitely targeting that kind of media frenzy politics.
So the astronauts land. They're looking for that perfect photo op, the flag wave.
And instead, they stumble into this massive crater. And inside, well, it's not rocks and dust.
It's a moon base, a huge one, shaped like a...
Like a swastika.
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
Total shock. And things go bad fast. One astronaut is killed straight away.
And the other one, the survivor, gets injured and captured by these suspicious-looking moon men, as the source puts it.
And here's where the satire bites immediately. The survivor is black.
Right.
And even as he's being captured by literal space Nazis, his big identifier, pushed by the PR team back home, is that he's the first black man on the moon.
It's just perfect, isn't it? Shows how obsessed the campaign is with the narrative, the optics, even when faced with, moon Nazis. The identity angle is the only thing they care about.
It's incredibly cynical. So how did these Nazis get to the moon in the first place? The film gives us this backstory pretty quick.
Yeah, it lays it out back in the last days of World War II. The hardcore believers, the real fanatics, they didn't give up.
They escaped.
Exactly. They had some advanced experimental tech, apparently.
Yeah.
Flew off to the dark side of the moon.
And they've just been hiding there for decades.
Hiding and planning, building this base, raising generations, all focused on one thing. Coming back to Earth to launch the Fourth Reich. Or, we'll continue the third, I guess. The 1,000-year Reich from space.
It's such a leap, but the film commits to it.
Totally. And inside this moon society, it's exactly what you'd expect, but also kind of brittle. They've been up there isolated for 70 years.
Still obsessed with racial purity, though. That hasn't faded.
Oh, yeah. The review mentions this perfect Aryan couple they've been tested, found to be 97% pure.
97% after generations on the moon. What's the other 3% moon dust? It's absurd bureaucratic thinking applied to hate.
That's the satire, right?
Yeah.
The ideology is so rigid, it doesn't even make sense in their own isolated context. And there's tension there, too.
Like internal politics.
You've got the second in command, Klaus, who's ruthless and ambitious, wants power.
Okay.
But then you have characters like the school teacher, Renate. She genuinely believes the Nazis are, good and gentle people.
Seriously, good and gentle.
Yeah, she thinks they're going back to Earth in peace to share their wonderful culture. It's this complete naive blindness to the monstrosity she's part of.
That contrast is key, I imagine. The cynical leaders versus the true believers.
Definitely. So they've got the base, the ideology, the ships. What's holding them back? Why haven't they invaded already after 70 years?
Right. The technology gap. This is fascinating. They have weapons, advanced ships maybe?
But they can't run them properly. They're stuck.
Why? What's missing?
Computing power. Their core tech is still basically 1940s level. Vacuum tubes and gears, probably. It can't handle the complex calculations needed for their invasion fleet, their Götterdämmerung superweapon.
So the Fourth Reich is stalled because they don't have good enough computers.
Pretty much. They need something powerful to coordinate it all.
And then the Americans land. Specifically the captured astronaut.
Exactly. And he has something they desperately need. Something that changes everything.
The MacGuffin, what is it?
It's his phone. Just a standard 2018 smartphone.
Wait, really? A mobile phone? That's the key.
That's the key. They plug it into their giant war machine, and suddenly it has the processing power it needs.
Wow. Okay, the irony there is thick. A civilization planning galactic conquest stop for decades until they find a piece of everyday consumer tech.
It says so much about where power actually lies now, doesn't it? Not just brute force, but processing capability. That little phone is the catalyst for the whole invasion. Yep.
Incredible. So one phone jumpstarts the war machine, but they need more, right, to run the whole fleet.
Correct. So they need more phones, more computers. They dispatch an expeditionary force.
Where to? Back to Earth.
Yep. Straight to New York City to gather more processing power.
Okay, so space Nazis arrive in New York, ready to start grabbing iPhones, basically. Sounds like the invasion is on.
Well, that's the plan. But then something happens. Something very iron sky.
What, do they get bogged down fighting the U.S. military?
Nope. Even better, they get sucked into the U.S. presidential election campaign.
You're kidding? They meet the president, the Palin-esque one.
They do, and her campaign manager, Vivian Wagner,
Yeah.
sees potential, not invaders, but like a new PR angle, a new look.
So the Nazis, who are there to get tech for world domination,
End up helping the president run for re-election. They get totally sidelined from the invasion plan because they're suddenly political consultants, kind of.
that is brilliantly stupid. The absurdity is just, wow. So the invasion is delayed because of campaign strategy meetings?
Essentially, yes. It's peak satire. The existential threat gets lost in the noise of media cycles and political maneuvering,
And the review stressed how the actors play this completely deadpan.
which makes it even funnier.
Yeah.
And darker. You see them on Earth still doing the whole Hail Hitler thing, even though, Hitler's long gone and someone else is nominally in charge.
It's uncomfortable humor then.
Very. But it doesn't shy away from the truly disturbing stuff either. It reminds you what these symbols actually mean.
Like what they do to the captured astronaut.
Exactly. The sources point this out as key. They medically alter him. They Aryanize him, basically changing his race to make him seem more pure and acceptable to them.
Jeez. That's horrifying. But I guess that's the point, right? To juxtapose the silly space adventure with the actual real horror of the ideology.
Absolutely. It stops being just a joke. It forces you to see the monstrousness beneath the potential comical surface. It makes the satire land harder because the stakes, the underlying evil, are real.
Okay, so managing that tone, delivering those visuals, that must have taken some doing, especially if it wasn't a huge blockbuster budget.
Right. And that brings us to the production itself, which is almost as interesting as the film's plot. This wasn't a quick project. The idea came about way back in 2006.
Wow, 2006, and it came out in 2012. That's a 6-year journey.
And it was tough going. Getting funding for space Nazis wasn't exactly easy, you can imagine.
So how did they pull it off?
Get this. They actually made a high-quality trailer first. Took it to the Cannes Film Festival.
Not to sell the finished film, but to sell the idea, to get the money.
Exactly. They had to prove the concept could look good, that it wasn't just going to be, cardboard spaceships. They needed to show investors the visual potential.
That's gutsy, betting on a trailer to fund the whole movie.
It worked, eventually. But that struggle really highlights what they achieved. Because the big takeaway here, for you listening, is the production value versus the cost.
It looked good.
It looked great, according to the reviews, especially for a film with a limited budget. The special effects, the design of the moon base, the space battles, apparently really impressive.
That's rare for lower-budget sci-fi. Usually the effects are where you see the seams.
But not here, it seems. The sources were clear. The effects were so good, they put some Hollywood blockbusters costing 20 times Iron Sky to shame.
20 times. That's incredible. It speaks volumes about the filmmaker's ingenuity, doesn't it?
Totally. They managed to deliver this huge-scale visual feast, juggle international partners, and maintain that really specific, dark, satirical tone. It's quite an achievement.
So summing it up, it's recommended, it delivers on the promise.
Yeah, the consensus seems to be. It's extraordinary, it's entertaining. If you want a Nazis in space drama, this gives you everything you'd expect, and then a whole lot more you probably wouldn't.
Okay, so we've got the plot, the satire, the surprisingly great effects despite the budget. What's the big thought here? What ties it all together?
Well, think about that central piece of technology again, that catalyst.
The mobile phone.
Right, this whole advanced, dangerous civilization, 70 years in the making, building moon bases and weapons. They were basically stuck, powerless in a way.
Until they found one ordinary smartphone from 2018.
Exactly. It had the processing power they lacked. It was the key.
So here's the question, maybe, for you to think about. If that simple device, something millions carry every day without a second thought, holds the power to unleash that kind of planned destruction,
What does that tell us about where real power, real global influence, might actually sit today? Is the next world-changing weapon hidden away in some secret base?
or is it the processing power, the data, the connectivity that's already in your pocket? Maybe the key to the next conflict isn't finding a hidden army, but controlling the chips and the code.
Something to mull over, definitely.
A provocative place to leave it. That's all we have time for on this deep dive into Iron Sky. Thanks for joining us.